Hello everyone, we're in the store today. We didn't have a nice lovely place to hang out because it's rented out right now.
Yeah, so this is one of my storerooms here. We have another rental on the other side of this wall here that we're just waiting for permission from the council so we can extend through here to make a nice ensuite bathroom. But as with all things, these things are a bit of a headache. So it's been quite some months now. We're on the final phase with our architect. And yeah, so hopefully this year we'll have a nice ensuite bathroom. We'll get a few more quid out of that room.
Yeah, so excuse the mess that you'll be able to see in the shot. I can assure you it's messier outside the shot, but that's the way it goes when you're in the middle of a building site.
Okay, so today's viewing.
Yes, exactly. Today's topic is the bits and pieces of video that you've already seen, hopefully, at this point. And that will be interesting to talk about today, so we're going to do that. I'll give you a rundown on it just in case you haven't seen it, but it's another 2-bedroom. It's a flat upstairs.
Might we say very rare 2-bedroom flat for the price point.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
So as you would have seen from the video there, reasonably centre to town, which is again rare. 2-bedroom flat with separate kitchen, separate living room, £95,000 asking price. £95,000. Now, yes, the flat was a bit dated. Mechanically, the flat was fine. Windows were double glazing. I believe some of the locks were a bit iffy on them, but that's not a huge thing to solve.
Well, I will interject there and say that one of the locks on the window, which was in the kitchen, was a little troublesome. I would probably say we'd have to replace the entire window, but you could possibly get away with replacing the locking mechanism. I would guess that the new locks won't fit, so it'll probably be a new one.
So we were approached by a couple of investors in the previous week. One was a young lady in her mid-20s that's moved here from abroad. She's looking to get into the B&B market. Currently does B&B cleaning and also works in a restaurant as well, so saved up a bit of money. The other gentleman, 56, 58.
Right, you spoke to them, I didn't.
So he again is another restaurateur here, reasonably wealthy. Was in the short-term let market with his wife beforehand. A few things happened. He's not doing it now, and it was his wife that ran the business. He funded it, she ran it. Whereas now he doesn't really want the rigmarole of guests late night, missing keys and everything else. So he said, "Look, there's a rare property we've seen there. Come and have a look." Went in there. It was the exact layout you want for a short-term let or even worker accommodation. You're into the hallway and each room branches off, which again, to find that layout around here is unusual. Normally what you find around here is you go to the entrance hall and then you're immediately into the living room. So that means what can you use the living room for? Right? Not a whole lot. Yeah, you can rent the whole apartment out if you just want one apartment with an extra bedroom or something like that, maybe. But this is, you're in the hallway, you've got one small box room, one quite good sized main bedroom. You got this kitchen was a reasonable size as well. It was bigger than average.
For what it was.
And then a really quite big living room, which if you wanted to do, make that another room, you absolutely could, and that would get you another £100, at least another £100 a night. So the madame that viewed with us there, or the video we showed her afterwards, she was under the impression that the renovations would take months and months and it'd be very complicated. And we said, look, you don't have to worry about that. We would estimate between £5,000 and £7,000 for the renovation. The bones were very good. You have new carpet, which we said has to be changed to laminate at the very least, because you don't want to have carpets in Airbnbs. You're just asking for
also
trouble.
The carpets that were in there were very dated anyway.
Yes, they were.
Again, you'll have seen that on the video. If not, I will put some B-roll over the top of this at places so you can see.
So just changing that to laminate is, you can get laminate for what, £12, £13 a square metre. And to do that whole place is a couple of days job as a tradesman.
Yeah.
The roofs weren't too bad. The ceilings. The walls were this sort of textured wallpaper, which can be a nightmare once you take that off. You never quite know what you're dealing with.
No.
But it's not a huge job. Anyway, it's not a huge job. It's a week's work for someone in there, and then the furniture and everything else.
Yeah. I said worst case scenario if you find a horror show behind the wallpaper, because it has been there at least several decades. Then you would just make sure you had a plaster in before you proceed to do anything else.
So The other properties on the street that are comparable to that, a bit smaller, they were selling at about 140,000. So we said, look, there's properties on this street. If you want to come up to 140,000, they're there for you. But you ain't going to make much money on that when it comes to selling the property. You take this property at 95, maybe you even put a cheeky little offer in at 90. Once you've put 5 to 7 grand in the refurb, you're probably up there looking at shared entranceway. You're probably looking at about 120 up. But that's by the by. What we're looking at is the monthly income. We were talking, with the location, and it's a bit smaller. It's not as great or spacious of some of the other apartments we do. But you're still going to be commanding at least 150, and that is, we are talking bottom barrel 150 a night. So you're talking 150 a night, 4,500 a month over the course of a year. That's good eating. Considering with these buy-to-lets, 25% deposit plus the 8% additional dwellings tax, you're making your whole money back in less than a year. What investment can you do that on?
That's where we talk about the difference between putting out as a one whole apartment or splitting it into workers' accommodation with 3 separate rooms. Because there was that discussion on the table.
Yeah, so what my suggestion was to maximise earnings. Yes, it's more legwork, but again, we're handling that for them anyway. It's not a big deal. So we said, look, the box room can be a nice small room, £70-80 a night. Backpackers, people just staying for one night. You have the main room. You could command £100 a night for that, maybe, give or take.
Okay.
And again, the living room has got a nice overlook. It's got the fireplace there. It's got the clad wall. That's easily going to be 120 a night for there.
I mean, you quite like the clad wall. I hated it. It sort of reminded me of something straight out of the 70s, and I was just not a fan.
So again, it is hard to look past that kitchen wallpaper. Yes, it's quite something.
The kitchen wallpaper, I mean, we're all in agreement that was to come down. It was the wood cladding for me. I would have said sand it, paint it in a modern colour just to give it a little bit more something.
Perhaps the bathroom needed some work as well, but not a huge amount. Rip the bathtub out. We're doing the floor anyway. There was carpet tiles in the bathroom, which is just no. Don't put carpet tiles in your bathroom.
Oh, no.
So that's all getting ripped out.
I mean, carpet in the bathroom is just a no-no in general.
Again, we can do lino in the bathroom, or again, laminate and then varnish it on top so it's waterproof.
I would say lino's the best solution because it's easily switched out. So if you get any problems, you get any issues, at least it's quick and easy to change out.
True,
It's less
if we
labour
put
to
a
install.
nice long walk-in shower there, it becomes a feat. You don't need a bath in there for
You're stealing my ideas.
I did. I was thinking more about a really nice long one, like you have some really good space in there.
Oh yeah.
For those romantic soirees with a partner.
Exactly. The weekend getaway kind of idea. You know what I'm saying?
So we had the other gentleman as well. He says, "Look, if I take this, I want to keep it as one apartment. I don't want the third room in there. I want that to be a living room. I want it to be high end." And he said, "Look, it's close to town. It's not in a great area, and if you go for the 3-room option, we're pretty sure you're going to be fully booked all the way around. Whereas the option you want, you get a bit less money. It is less work. You will have less damages and everything else. But in the winter time, you ain't going to get as much trade because we still get backpackers and these Americans that come here and I'm Scottish. I'm connected with my roots and a lot of them over here. Yeah,
the pilgrimage.
And then he said, I don't quite know if it's worth the money at 95. And we were saying to him, look, the flat just across the road is smaller than here, and it's 140,000. I said, look, we're keen on the property market here. We're checking high and low for properties. And for this price, 2 bedrooms, I said, you will not find this again. This will go in days. So we decided if they don't take the property, because obviously, we viewed it on their behalf, that we're going to go in for it ourselves. And again, the numbers are there.
Yeah, we'll always give clients the opportunity to take something, but if they back out, and we think it's good enough, if we can acquire it, we will.
Again, the madame there, she couldn't see past the. She wanted to come into a property we sourced a previous property for previously, where it was just literally everything was ready. Walk into it, furnish it. There was. I'm thinking about it now. There was nothing. There was no works to be done. Not even there was a bathroom wall we had to give a lick of paint to, and that was it. Everything else was ready to go. And you can have that, but you have to pay for it. And
Absolutely.
flats don't increase much in value as opposed to houses. So if you are under the, say, the 180, 200,000 range for the city centre, you are looking at flats. And if you get a fixer-upper, you can get a bit of money back on that. Then you can get into releasing more equity and stuff. We're not going to talk too much about that today. What we did try and stress them is, look, you put the money in here, you don't have to do anything about it. Even after our cut and our commission and everything else, you're still making X amount a year. Where else can you put 25 grand into that and make that money? There's no investment you can do that off. And it's a property, it's there. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. What did you think of the property anyway? Now, you notice when you walk in the main door and you have the shared hallway, it's very well maintained. Now, we did give the downstairs neighbour a knock. They weren't in. And that's something we have to be quite keen on as well. A neighbour can make or break an investment. If you get a neighbour that objects to you making a short-term let there, you have to wait 4 or 5 months till the committee comes, tribunal, and your licence will still get passed, yes. But you've lost, 4 or 5 months of income, and that's a lot of money, especially in the summer.
It's not just that. I mean, upsetting a neighbour has other long-term consequences, and it's not good. It just isn't good in general for so many reasons. I mean, that's just one. You don't want a downstairs neighbour making a nightmare for guests when they come in.
Absolutely. So generally what I do is when we take a property for ourselves or for one of our clients, I like to go and meet the neighbours, if it's in Inverness, of course. Meet them personally and say, look, my name's Andrew, we're doing an Airbnb up here. Don't worry. And you have a joke with us, don't worry, we don't allow parties or any spicy content there. We had an old pensioner. We had an old lady there that I said, some of them try and use it as a bit of a spicy film set. She said, spicy? Oh, I said, yeah, we don't allow that either. We give our number and say, look, any problems, and you say, look, you keep an eye on the place for me a little bit. I would appreciate that. And then they really enjoy being included, and they can be an asset to the guests because the guests are there. They don't know anyone. Your neighbour's doing the garden, and they chat with them. Just like any problems, you give us a call, and I'll be straight there. And it's not asking them to police you so much. It's asking them to work with you.
I also think it's really good because there's also little tiny additions. I mean, for the cost involved and for the hassle, giving them a gift at Christmas time or something as well, just to say, oh yeah, thanks for helping us out. Thanks for looking after that. People love that sort of thing.
True. The one of our clients has 2 apartments in Miller Street in Inverness, and he's got the contact. And when he was doing it himself, he had the contacts of every single homeowner there. And they were happy to have them, especially guys that own their own home as well, or women that own their own home.
Well, fires needed fought, so they've been put out now.
Right then, where were we?
You were going to ask me what I thought.
Yes, your thoughts on the property from, firstly, the customer's perspective and why they might think that, and your own.
Customer's perspective in what way?
So, at first, the older gentleman, what he would like to do with the place.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I see what you mean. Well, from the perspective of it being too much work, I don't think so.
Because he was used to higher end B&Bs. You're talking, £250 plus a night, which you can have. But what is it we keep saying? You can have that, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's up to you whether you want the headache, because obviously you've got to organise contractors if you need to. There's a certain amount of rolling up your own sleeves to get bits and pieces done if you want to do that, or you want to hire somebody to do that. It is a degree of extra hassle and project management, and if you don't want to do that, well, that's fair.
Because another thing to note, you weren't present for it, but he does have his own guys that he used in his own projects years ago, and he has somebody's at the door, and a cleaner as well. Hello.
Yep. Okay, never mind.
And he does have his own cleaners that he was pretty keen on using as well.
And that's again absolutely fine. If you want to. It's up to you how much control you want to have over that, whether you want to be doing most of it yourself, whether you want to be chasing people yourself, or whether you want us to, for example, facilitate that for you. And all of that makes a difference.
So his worry was, there's going to be, you do get a lower class of clientele when you charge, £120 a room per night, rather than, 250, 275 a night. And that's what we account for there, right? It's not going to be unique antiques we're putting in there. It's going to be nice, but fairly universal furniture. If they break, we can replace it very easily. Again, a lot of the platforms that we do your listing on, they usually have some sort of insurance there if you have the receipt for anything. So You know,
absolutely.
if they break the bed and it costs a couple £100 to repair, you know, they're usually more than happy.
And that I suppose is the difference. So, for example, you know, some of the furniture we put into places was quite bespoke. Some of the stuff is quite expensive. There's no point in doing that on a flat that's taking in minimal value per day, and I guess that's fine.
Well, we say minimum value, but you imagine it's going to be taken in. You know, if all the rooms are rented out, and I would assume they would be. You know, almost £300 a day.
Yeah, absolutely. So but that doesn't mean that you can just turn around and go, right, well, we'll have the best of furniture and then it gets broken, you know.
So again, you could add a bit more hassle on there for us today. Get, you know, 250, 300 a day. Or you can get, 150 maybe for that area.
Yeah, well, as we've said before, there's limitations to the location as to where it actually is. There's only so much you're ever going to get for a flat like that. So again, it just has to be in line.
But again, look,
it's all about making sure it's in line. Yes,
£95,000, £5,000 to £7,000 for a good. That's you know that's worst case scenario, right? 5,000 to 7,000. I mean, look at the previous project there that we were just doing and filming for our good subscribers there. It was
the last one. The last one was fun.
Almost everything included was 1,250.
Yeah, you don't always get that lucky. It's just if everything lines up the way it needs to.
But you know, we're keeping an eye on the property market. The properties popped up today, been listed today, and I reckon if we don't take a jump on this, it'll be gone within a week.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think putting in some of the extra work is worth the time and effort to do so.
The gentleman did suggest, why don't you offer them 80,000 and see what they say, because it's already freakishly cheap.
Well, the thing is, I think that the people selling also know that it needs drastic modernization, and that's not necessarily going to be something that suits everyone.
But then again, you know, walls and floor are 85% of that.
Yeah, true.
Shower isn't, you know, the bathroom really is the cheapest room to be doing. The bathroom needs the most work. Kitchen, you know, once you change the wallpaper and change the location of the appliances, the kitchen is not that bad.
Well, I would reface the kitchen units as well.
Those
if the carcasses are good, then refacing them with modern doors is probably going to make a huge difference. Those
built-in wardrobes are a bit funny as well. They probably have to come down.
Yes.
You know, normally people pay a premium for them, but they were kind of just, you know, that really cheap wood, and they were a bit rickety, and you don't need that if you're staying there for a couple of days, and we'd get a heck of a lot more space back just obliterating them and putting hangers up and everything else.
I mean, there is another possible option, and that's to have modern equivalents built in as well. A good joiner can knock those together. You know, it's not like you can't buy the parts from Howdens. That'd be an option too.
It goes, you know, it depends which route you want to take. If it was me, you know, the staff are there, the resources are there, the systems are there. I'd rather get the extra £100 a night and put the bit of extra work in, and, you know, have it as a nice, you know.
Well, that's reasonable.
And it's year round, right? Even if you can get, you know, the £80 a night room rented in the winter, that still pays the mortgage. It pays all the bills. So
yeah, I think you'll agree with me. Kitchen needs gutted, bathroom needs gutted, and then the other rooms really need redecoration.
That's it. Yeah.
Replace the sockets to upgrade them to newer ones. Make sure the electrical inspection is done. Isolate the gas system. I originally said that gas would be a good idea because it already has that. I got a bit excited about that. I was like, we could put in a proper hob and oven. But Andrew made the good point that probably gas is a little dangerous, so we should probably just go to electric.
Yeah, I mean, in all the properties that I've done recently, I make a note to just ignore the gas altogether. Yeah, you know, is it better for cooking? Yes.
Absolutely.
But there's too much risk involved there. It's not like you have long-term tenants there. You have guys there from all different creeds and culture, and to be frank, they don't care. They don't care. And there's a lot of potential there for accidents. So why not just get rid of the gas, electric there, bang. So what if it's a little bit more expensive on the utilities? It's much safer.
Yeah, I mean, from a personal perspective, I would always prefer gas for cooking. But, you know, it's whatever works best.
And yeah, so a freakishly cheap little property here, a really good investment for anyone. We are going to call again the estate agents tomorrow, and we're going to probably offer them the asking price and see what they say.
I thought you said, did you not say you were going to try to go for just under that? Oh, well, that's a good point. We never really qualified, did we? It was 95,000 offers over, or a fixed price, or what are we talking?
It was offers over 95. However, in my experience, most of the properties that I've bought, I've managed to get it under that.
Yeah, so would you not suggest that you could turn around and say, okay, we'll offer you 90, no chain?
Yeah, so we have our own way of negotiating with the estate agents, and they have their chief negotiator as well. And we've worked at a good way to, for lack of a better word, cut the bullshit. It's true. I mean, I'll discuss a bit more with the system later. But we go there, we speak to the negotiator themselves, who they themselves are negotiating directly with the seller. And we just say, look, the money's there. It's just a matter of contract. Can you go there? And usually we like to have an informal chat first where, it's very rare you can speak to the seller, but you can usually go through the estate agent and say, look, could you give them a phone now? Phone them right now after you speak with me. Tell them what my offer is. Come back to me now, because there's no point in wasting your solicitor's time and putting in a formal offer. If they say we'll accept this, we'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
There's never been one time. There's been delays and things on their end, but from a seller's point of view, there's a very large chance of you getting to the last 3-4 weeks of your sale, or even the last 2 weeks. The last 1 week in one circumstance we had, and the buyer pulls out for one reason or another. And then it's getting the ball rolling again, weeks of conveyancing, it's a hassle. But with us, we offer an informal guarantee. If we shake hands on it, it's going to get done. And again, we badger the conveyancer every couple of days. They must hate us, really. They must see our number and think, not them again. As we told you last time, it's now on this stage. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Did you get through the what's it called again? Why am I forgetting these things? Home report.
Home report. No, that's still waiting to get sent out there. We literally seen this property here, and it's an estate agent we collaborate with quite a bit. We phone them up and we say, we want to view this now. And there was no agents available, so it was literally a case of, the keys are here for you. We leave some ID and stuff and things like that, just a formality. And we go there, and we're probably the first to view it. And being there by yourselves for the amount of time we were, it's not like, you have a guy giving you the hard sell there. We can look under the floors and all the things that are a bit awkward to do, and there's an estate agent showing you around. There wasn't, as far as I could see, it was first floor flat. There was no signs of damp, even around the windows.
Yep. Well, I even lifted part of the floor in the kitchen in the area that I thought was a danger, and I didn't see anything at all.
There was a suspect crack. Was it in the kitchen that I pointed it out?
There is a crack
the bedroom,
in the ceiling on the master bedroom.
Yes, that was it. How deep that goes, though, I'm not sure. It may just be a surface level crack in the plaster.
Yeah, it's quite possible. At the end of the day, we'll see when we finally get the home report information, which, like Andrew was saying, should be tomorrow. Now,
one of the negatives are it's kind of a shared doorway. And again, we didn't have much. We had some photos and we had the rough outline of what it was. But with these properties, I've seen them go in the space of 24 hours, really. So when I see these properties, I want to hit them, if not for ourselves, because we have a lot of guys on retainer here that are saying, look, we have money. What do we have to invest? And I don't like to take these conversations any further until we have something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, properties around the 200,000 range or a bit more, they stay on the market for a good few months. So you have time to go back and forth and, maybe we can do this. But when you get a property that's like this for under 150, they just fly off the shelf. Really, they fly off the shelf.
You have to strike while the iron's hot with those ones.
There was a real fixer-upper actually in the industrial estate not far from us here. And it was a one-bedroom flat. However, one bedroom, then I had the living room as well. So potentially could have been 2 rooms. But say one-bedroom flat would have been ideal for long stay workers. Now, long stay workers, you're not going to be hitting the £200 a night, but you are getting between 100, 150 a night, 150 a night in the summer, and they stay for months at a time. Less hassle. Maybe you go in and you give them your bed linen every now and then, but it's really low effort stuff there. Down the industrial area, shared entrance as well, but £65,000. Again, it was in an industrial area, not great. No families are going to want to stay there. There was a little bit damp in there, but it can be remedied. The windows were a bit on the older side, but an absolute steal. So it went on the market at 9 in the morning. We phoned at 10:45, and it was already under offer.
There you go.
So then we said, keep our name down and call us back. Anyways, a couple of weeks go by, almost a month goes by. He phones me up, crack of dawn. Hello, we have the property, blah, blah, blah. Are you still interested? We say, well, absolutely. Let's go around and get a viewing. Had another viewing, or the original viewing anyway. So I had a viewing.
Well, I can't believe it. We had delivery. We'll come back to that in a little while.
This is where it turns into a food reviewing channel.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Not right now. Oh, thanks, Dustin.
Cheers, guys.
Lovely, thank you very much. That was Dustin there. He manages the shop we're currently in. He's been working here about 3 years now. Does a grand old job. Formerly, he was cleaning B&Bs as well, but he didn't enjoy it very much. Especially, yeah.
It's not for everyone. It really isn't.
No, I mean, a lot of people would say, well, I clean my own house, so I can clean B&Bs, but no, it's if you're not into that sort of thing, it's really not for you. But yeah, so 65k, and we said, all right, we'll go back and talk with our investors, and we said, we'll offer you the asking price. And yeah, we were currently just closing on one property now, and we said to them, look, we're another 10 days away from closing on another property, and can you wait? Because sometimes there can be complications if you have if you're closing on multiple properties at a time. It can lead to issues, and it leads to extra criteria from banks and things like that. So we said, look, give us 10 days, and then we'll put a formal offer in. And no, they didn't want to wait. So unfortunate, because even at 65k, even renovating it, it needed a wee bit more work. Say, again, 7 to 10 on that. You could have got another 100, 120 pounds a night maybe for that place. And it had its own parking around the back as well.
All right, okay.
But this goes to show you have to have the money ready to go. It can't be, by the time you find a property and you come back and you're talking, what can we do? It's gone already. So probably we'll go forward with some sort of deposit or escrow account or something like that. So there's...
I mean, we have talked about some kind of investment system where people put cash into something and they trust us to then invest it wisely in a property and manage it for them.
I mean, the other properties we have, I mean, they've all come fantastic. Everyone's making money from them. But these absolute steals off our property, you don't have time to have a round table discussion about it.
No.
It has to be, there's money there, you see it, straight on the phone to the estate agent, this is the price.
Yeah, that's not what I mean. I mean, we had considered an investment system where people put money in, and then when we find something, it's up to us how we allocate it.
Yeah, well, that's the only way. That's the only way you're going to get the real bargains like that.
Yeah,
it's the only way. And now, we've touched base with so many solicitors now. If we offer the same price as someone else, it goes to us every time. Why? Because there's no hassle. There's no bullshit. If we say we're taking it, we're taking it. Whereas we had one, the one we were just talking about there, it was actually pretty close to this previous video. So it was just down the road from there. Similar flat, 2 bedrooms. However, the kitchen and living room were separate. So obviously that's going to be a third room, right? And there was a couple there. They took it right up to the final few days of the contract being exchanged, and they called. We'd like to pull out. We're emigrating to Australia. Now, yeah, they'll have to probably pay some sort of fee in between there, but that was that. Just months of hassle, months of conveyancing, calling it that. Whereas we've not had an issue like that yet.
No, which is good.
And at the end of the day, from the estate agent, yes, he advocates on behalf of the seller. Right, that's who evidently he works for. But at the same time, his commission is there. And would he rather get a couple more quid or get guaranteed sale?
Well, that is always it. Sometimes dealing with the known quantities worthwhile. All right. Anything else we need to discuss?
What would be the most you'd be willing to pay for this property?
Well, I would have suggested putting in an offer about 88, 90.
Yeah, we can go for a 90 and see. Then again, potentially, I mean, it's only been on the market a day. They could be flooded with offers.
Yeah, well, we already know that one of the potential buyers is off the table, so now we're just waiting for the other. But again, we put in to say to them, well, you're going to have to make a decision by tomorrow morning because it will move quickly anyway. Yeah,
because I don't know if we mentioned earlier, but in last week we've had 2 people approach us, and they said, look, we have X amount of money, we want to invest. Can you tell us a bit more about how it works? And both of them have said, we're, for lack of a better word, we're getting on a little bit in years. We don't think a mortgage is going to be right for us. We say, well, that's fine. We have, you invest directly into us and you get a share of the profits. And as soon as we said that, they said, yes, we wanted that. What can we do? When do we give you money? And we said, hold on. We want to explain our system to you first, because we're all about clarity. We're not some big conglomerate where you have to send emails to different departments. If you want to know something, you phone one of us up. We explain it to you. There's no hidden fees. There's no nonsense. That's why it's called the PIC Property Partnership. And it's as simple as that. So I don't think he can jump on board with this one, because by the time we go back to him and show him everything, send him the brochure, and this property will be gone. But I'm going to show him an example. This is the sort of thing we're looking at here. You put in this amount, and obviously that bed and breakfast will be its own entity. After every month you're entitled to this much percentage, and if you want to sell your share in it, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can give it away. It's legal tender to us. If you want to sell it back to us, if you say, I want to emigrate to Australia, okay, your share is worth 20,000. Okay, we'll give you 25. It's good for us, because then we can buy the 20%, right? Sorry, the 20,000, and it's good for him. He gets his original investment back, and in many ways, getting that much money back plus your original investment is unheard of in investment. It's just unheard of. If you put 100 grand into something and you get 8% back a year, you'd be singing from the roofs about how good it was. You would. I've got friends that have money, and if they get 5%, they're smiling about it. But again, we want to work with people. We want people to try us out. Say, look, I've got 15, maybe 20,000, and there's not a lot you can do with it in business. We'll take this, right? Your senior investment, your senior money coming in every month, and then we want them to think, you know what? If I put 15 grand into this and I'm making X amount every month, what if I put 50 grand into this? What if I put 60? Guys, if I have 60 grand for your next project, what would I get from that? Okay, that's it. And now all of a sudden they've got a very viable business where they're thinking, how can I raise more money to put it into this? For them, again, there's no such thing as passive income, really. But there's a lot of income for very little work. And this is the closest thing we can find to it, really. We have everyone else there. We have the compliance team. We have the part testers. We have the electricians, Legionella test, everything from cleaners, maintenance guys. It's all there. They really don't have to do it. Invest the money and put a bit of trust into us.
Well, I like the idea of people, instead of saying, right, okay, well, instead of cashing out, why don't I put the money that's earned back into it? I think that's good if you give people the option to do that.
The thing, yes, but a trickle of money doesn't really do much, right?
Well, I mean, it's hardly a trickle in the case of what we're talking about here.
True. I mean, if they can put 2 grand a month in there, and we can save it for them, and then at the end of the year we can do something for them. But I think for the sort of people we want to target, it's people that want to see real evidence. It's nice to say, oh, we've made you £3,000 this month. But seeing that £3,000 come into your bank every month, sometimes it's a little bit up, sometimes it's a little bit down off that. But then you can say, you know what, this is pretty straightforward.
But I like the idea of people treating it like a pension as well, where they just get a quarterly report that says you made this much. It's still back in the system.
It's funny you touch upon the pensions. When there's been quite a few prospective investors, we say investors, it's guys, off a certain age, they have 20, maybe 25 grand that they want to do something with. A lot of them have fallen foul of this, the pension scandal of the early 2000s. Do you remember that one?
Not in detail. So
there was some sort of a lot of guys with pensions were, and I'll have to try and think of exactly how to word it. They had like an investment sort of pension, right? Is it ringing some bells now? And it went like bust. Yeah. There's quite a few of them that have said they've been in some sort of scenario like that where they've been working. One gentleman was working, I think it was out at NIG, and he also dealt with power plants and things like that. He gambled a lot of his pension in some sort of investment fund, and it's gone bust. And because he invested before a certain date or after a certain date, he wasn't eligible for any of the protections. So these guys, I don't think they want something just on paper that's there. They want to see they want to, get the notification on their phone that there's been a deposit and stuff. Same, I love checking my phone in the morning and I see there's been a transfer from here, and as you go through the day, you hear the bank account app. It's a great feeling.
Oh, if we get ourselves an app set up with this shit soon, we're gonna have to use the cash register sound.
Mandatory. Catching.
Gotta love it.
But and again, if they choose to roll that over and give it back to us, they can. And
I just think it's good to have the option that if people want to do that. I think that's good.
In fact, when we first started all that time ago, one of our first clients was was a Pakistani student actually that was over here, and he was he a student? Yeah, no. He was a student, and then he ended up becoming some sort of butcher over here for his halal products and all of this. And he couldn't wrap his head around it. He says, "So if I invest in this, you just send me money every month as well. You get a portion of the profits every month, and this is one project we're doing. This is how much we're currently making. So similar project, you'll make X, Y, Z." He says, what if I move back to Pakistan? I said, my friend, you can move to the moon if you want. It makes no difference. You're still going to get the money every month. And he could not believe it. He thought there was, there would be an extra fee, or there'd be. I said, no, it's your share and it's your part of the money. It's not ours. It's not, it gets transferred to you. It's yours. It's nothing to do with us.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, we already get our commission. We already get our fee, and it already ties in with our other systems as well. And we're happy with what we charge. We're not one of these companies that charges peanuts and you still have to run after again. What's our catchphrase? From licenses to missing keys.
We do everything.
So if you want to move to the moon and still collect your money, no one's going to call you. No one's going to hassle you. All you need to give us is 1, your investment, 2, a bank account to deposit it into. And it really is that simple.
And anything you want to know up and beyond that is your call. If you want the quarterly updates, if you want to know the status of how your occupancy has gone, any repairs, if you want to know a list of all the inspections, quarterly, you have access to that if you want it.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see quarterly the sort of the work that's been done. If you're making £3,000 a month in profit and 1 month is 2,800, something's going to cause that. It's either the bookings are less or something's broken and it had to be repaired. And again, we're in-house for most of our stuff, so it's not like somebody damages a light socket and the electricians come in and charge £450 for half an hour's work, yes. Which can be the case. But with us, it's it's all there for you to
not
see.
Naming any names, of course.
No, but there's a few chancers out there. The more desperate you are, the higher their price seems to be, which is largely why we try to do a lot of the stuff ourselves and in-house with our own team. But if the shoe was on the other foot, and I seen a company that was doing what we would do, and I'm thinking, right, I've got a bit of money. Do I want to take a punt on crypto? Not really, because you never quite know what's going on. In business, can you do a lot with 20 grand?
I think the days of crypto megabucks are on their way past now. I could be wrong, and it could explode again in the next month, and I'm going to look silly, but
yeah,
I think.
But I tell you what, will be there next month. People booking rooms, holidaymakers, workers. Yeah. Now, currently,
everyone needs a place to sleep.
That's true. Now, currently, we don't go outside of the Highlands of Inverness. We're quite reluctant to go out of Inverness at all, really, unless it's a really nice cottage somewhere and it can be made, really high end.
I mean, I would, but
yeah, we kind of want to. It goes back to the partnership. We want to have it in our grasp. If there's any problems, and there will be, it can be. Take one fail-safe, for example. The guest loses their key. So you would have an extra key hidden somewhere. They look there and the key is rusted, the key is bent, or the key safe that it's stored in, the latch is not working. Yeah. There always has to be someone there to go out at 3 a.m.
Again.
And sometimes we have to.
You can get around that with some automation, but then there's the price associated with that. And those aren't exactly fail-safe either. I mean, there are things you could do to mitigate that. But, it's the case of we'd rather consolidate in this area first and then look at branching out afterwards.
Speaking of locks, I think it'll be another week or so. So I've ordered some these electronic locks online. Not quite Yale, because the Yales are very expensive, but we're going to test these ones out.
They are expensive for a reason, though.
Yes. Now, these ones that I've ordered here, they can be accessed by the key. They've got a key port underneath. The back of it is a turn lock, which is a requirement for the licensing now. Key fob as well. Right. But also for emergencies, it can be activated remotely via the app. So if the guest phones up, I've locked my keys in the house, you can just go on the app, boom, doors open, it'll be open for the next 15 seconds.
Yeah. So I love the idea of having the fingerprint locks that Yale does, but
they don't often work in the extreme cold or heat, though.
Of course. Yeah, but having said that, virtually all of the ones we've done recently have been inside an interior hallway. Yes,
for the sort of price range we're looking for our investors. Yes.
I mean, in fact, almost all of them just this month have been.
Yeah, that's right. They've all had a shared entranceway. That brings me back to the shared entranceway of our viewing today. Is once you got in the front door, the entranceway was very nice. The floor, really good quality laminate. The carpet on the stairs were done nice.
I mean,
it was almost like the inside of somebody's house, wasn't it?
I'm going to run the B-roll here because I disagree when it comes to the carpet. I think it's a bit too 70s. But hey, you know.
But mainly it was quite well maintained. Also,
yeah, I'll give you that.
In the hallway leading out to the backyard, there was like a tourist poster on the wall as well. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Well, that was a strange one.
It wasn't quite a tourist poster. It was a bit weird. I didn't catch it on video, in fact. But let me describe it for you. So it's a frame, but the frame's too big.
Massively too big.
Yeah, just a little.
Frame is here. The poster's like here.
And it's basically one of these Scotland maps, but it's not even mounted straight. It's mounted at a weird angle.
Yeah.
I just looked at it and shook my head.
It's not even a map. It's almost like a tourist itinerary or something that had some hot spots on there.
Yeah, so it was quite funny.
But it's not something you would just put in your house. It's very clearly targeted towards tourists. So I'm wondering, was it an STL before? Or was it a rental or holiday let?
Maybe the downstairs was.
Now, the garden was very well maintained, which is usually the sign of somebody advanced in years taking care of it. You rarely see a young person taking. I mean, beautiful roses and all these other beautiful flowers there. It was very colourful.
Yeah, it was a lovely garden. It's a shame there isn't a way to find a way to make that work.
Well, if we end up getting this place, I would keep a keen eye on that other, because it was just shared with one other occupant. There was just, the ground floor and the up floor, and that was it. So I would be more than happy to take that off them as well. Even, if the garden's included in their lot as well, even for an extra 10 grand or so, you would get that whole place for what? 200,000? Crikey. And you have potential of 3 rooms upstairs, 3 rooms downstairs, 6 rooms. That's a lot of money, mate. And then, of course, you have the garden to play with as well. You can do a lot of stuff in there.
And, your maintenance costs are way down because you don't have the travel time. Everything's all in one place. And, I mean, this is pretty close to quite a few of the others that we managed too. So I'm not really too worried about that in general, taking too much time over it, just because things are close together. The worst thing you want is a cleaner has to do one, say one in Inverness, and then has to go all the way to Muirvord to do another one, and then they've got another 6 back in Inverness again. It's just...
And they've all got to do it within that time frame. Usually what we set for our guests is check out at 11, which is later than most places. Some places even grill you at 9 o'clock in the morning. But we say 11 o'clock, check in 3 o'clock. So we don't have a lot of time, right? You can get 2 cleanings done in that time if it's not horrendous. You might go in there and it's just a bomb site.
There's always that potential.
Or you take, for example, we had one of our properties there, our cleaner phoned us up. We had some workers staying there, and they were staying for a number of weeks. And it was, well, I'll let you go on how it was. Now, the flat itself wasn't that messy. It was there.
I can't remember.
I sure remember, because I was the one in there checking it out and reporting it.
I'm starting to wonder now if it's the one that I think it was. You're going to have to remind me.
Howfing of sweat. The bed.
That one.
Oh, that one, yes.
I didn't think that was as bad as you're making it out to be, but...
did you go into it, or was it just...
I think we're talking about the one with the caked mud.
No. The mud is, par for the course. It can happen, but
that bothered me.
And it was the beautiful fabric sofas as well. And I remember I went, the cleaner phoned me, and I thought, it can't be as bad as she's making it out to be. I better go there.
You've got to get the smell out.
And I came.
You make a good point. Yeah.
And she had the music on the TV because it was a big cleaning job. It's a couple of rooms there, and I sat on the sofa, the fabric sofa, and I got this whiff coming up, and I just thought, surely that's not what I think it is.
Oh no.
So anyways, we've bought a very good spot cleaner and steam cleaner, Combi, to solve that one next time.
Yeah.
But it was a job. Everything had to be washed twice.
I wasn't there for that.
There was a heat wave though, so.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one, and that's probably why.
Funny that he wasn't there for it, was he?
Yeah,
I was
there for the mud one. Don't forget that.
Crikey, I'll take them.
You think they were doing? You think they'd actually done Mud Runner and then just came in and gone?
Just wipe that on there, mate. Save the towels.
And you don't think it was that bad? I'm like, oh well, I disagree. But,
but yeah, so luckily we had some other gas safety checks and things that day come in, and various other tradesmen coming round to update a few things there in the flat. So we took the bookings off for the afternoon, just in case, because sometimes when you have these long stairs, they can put an elbow through the plasterboard and they don't tell you till they move out. And how are you going to get a plasterer to come around in the space of an hour and fix it? It ain't going to happen. So luckily already we didn't want to take bookings for that day. So by the time we got in there, 2 washings in there, everything else, the odor killer for breathe. I had to come and help the poor girl because it was just horrendous. So it took about 6.5 hours to get the smell out and everything else. And after that, we opened the property up. We lowered the price to like 100 just to see if we can get something for that night, but we didn't get any takers on that occasion because it was so late by the time we finished. But yes, that really made us think of. We upgraded our equipment anyway. I mean, the smell was horrendous. I don't know how 2 blokes managed to. I don't know what they were doing. Don't want to know what they were doing in there, but yeah.
And again, like I say, I missed the worst of that. So
yeah, but long story short, when you have these, there's benefits to having long stays. But at the end of a long stay, 2-3 weeks, you really want to block bookings for the afternoon because there usually is something there that's going wrong. I mean, they've been living there 2-3 weeks, right? So
yeah, exactly.
There's going to be something.
You can expect it's going to need a good overhaul at that point. You should be anyway.
So yeah, let's see if we get this property. Yeah.
We'll find out how it goes, and obviously you guys will be updated once we do that, and there'll obviously be the video on furnishing it, prepping it, all that sort of stuff. So,
so I think in the lockup, what do we have? We got
not a lot right now.
Double bed. There's that lovely.
There's 3 double beds. There's a leather sleep bed.
Oh yes.
And then there's 2 divans, but we don't have any singles left. What else have we got in there? We have kitchen table. A lovely drawer unit.
I've got my eyes on that one. It's the same one.
He wants it for himself. Doesn't want it for clients. No, I'll have that.
Oh, it's a nice one. I can see that. In my bedroom now.
Yes, I'm sure you could. I guess it depends. You're just gonna have to cough up.
You'll cough up, he says.
Right. Right. So yeah, but we don't have much else right now. So we'll have to see what comes in.
But the main thing is getting the offer accepted on it, because I think we really have to go hard.
We need to go back at the auctions and see what's out there furniture wise, because it's been a while. We haven't been for at least a month, probably 3. I lose track of time.
You get absolute steals at the auction. Really, a lot of it is old tat. Don't get me wrong, but there's some real nice things in there.
All you need is 1 or 2 gems to furnish a flat. That's all you need, because what you have is your centerpieces that are really quite special, and then your other stuff can be quite regular off-the-shelf furniture. That's not a problem. But as long as you have 1 or 2 really special items, that tends to make or break it.
Yeah, I can see another beautiful Super King in that main room in there.
Of course you would be. Man of the Super Kings. I'm flush with doubles. I've got loads of doubles right now. And you're like, oh, let's buy another Super King. And I'm like, oh, well, you know what? You have to.
It is a lot of extra money.
Well, but, I know.
But almost whenever we look at our competition, none of them have it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a nightmare for the cleaner, but still, when you get into a Super King bed, and whenever I've stayed in hotels that have Super King, you're on a holiday, right? It's almost an experience in itself. I don't think we'll go for the full temper mattress again, because that's a bit more luxury than we want to offer, and they are very expensive. But even a normal mattress is so big, and it's fantastic. It's a real experience. Telly on the wall again this time, and little.
I've often said don't scrimp too much on the mattress, because people remember this. I mean, what's the one thing I remember about every travel lodge I've ever had to stay in? Been forced to, by the way, because there's nothing better. I remember the beds are like bricks and they're horrible, and you wind up with a sore back, and it's like, it's just a horrible experience. Who wants that? How
were the radiators in the house? I don't remember checking. I think they were the old sort of old cast iron ones, were they?
They were the original classics, but they were well maintained and they weren't rusty.
I seen there was a thermostat control in there as well in the hallway.
All of them. Yeah, they had that. So it's perfectly acceptable.
So if we had that property tomorrow, if we had the keys for it tomorrow, how long do you think it would take before we were getting our first bookings in? In terms of just the upgrades and the renovations?
Well, obviously, in terms of the upgrades and renovations, well, obviously you're going to have to wait for licensing. So we said that's roughly about 2 months, give or take. Pretty sure we mentioned that last time.
And in that case, everything would be done by then.
Oh, yeah. Easily, I mean, all your certification is going to be done. Furniture will have been sourced. The what needs to be ripped out in the bathroom and the kitchen
However,
will certainly be finished.
There's another thing to note as well. A lot of these emails we've been getting recently for the long-term workers, a few of them have been over 30 days. So if you have tenants that are staying over 30 days, they don't fall under the SDL category.
All right. Okay.
So
okay, that's an opportunity to be able to just get in there right away.
Mm-hmm.
The downside to that is you're still going to need 2 to 3 weeks turnaround. I reckon because this one needs way more work than some of the ones where they've just been ready to roll.
If it was just floors and walls, you're not even talking a week really, and that's given plenty of time.
I mean, it's quite plausible.
The bathroom the bathroom and the kitchen will take a bit of time.
Yeah. If all we had to do was take the carpets out and do the wallpaper, well, you're 4 days straight done.
And that brings it up in a major way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you'll see from the video, the bathroom was probably the weakest point in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But bathrooms are also.
I would say the kitchen actually was.
The bathrooms are the easiest to do.
Yeah. I mean, again, removing the bathtub and replacing it with a family-size shower, not the most difficult thing in the world. The mixer tap system is already there, so removing the old one, taking the tiles down, replacing it with a wet wall, and sticking the new mixer taps up, that's a day's work for a plumber. It's not hard work.
Yeah. Kitchen is a bit of a funny one just because of the gas, right? But again, we're just going to box that off.
Cooker, you'll see it on the video. Again, I'll run B-roll here. So as you come into the room, you see that the cooker's right in front of you and it's out on its own. It's really weird. They put it at 90 degrees to the rest of the
might be able to get money for that cooker, the bloody antique it is.
Yeah, possibly. and actually, it was not in too bad a condition for obviously how old and nasty it looked. But
if we were doing a long-term rent, it would be fine. There'd be no issue having that the way it is.
No. Again, I don't like it just because it looks wrong. It looks like it's been shoved there as an afterthought. It's kind of half-assed, if you excuse my language. I would have immediately been like, okay, they put this here, but the corner behind it is weirdly patched up with what looks like chipboard.
And there's a lot of countertop space as well. I don't know if you noticed that.
What's that?
There was a lot more countertop space than you would need for a house of that size. The whole wall was a countertop.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was really because there wasn't any alcoves for appliances as such.
They could have made one in there. Now, to note as well, I mean, 95,000, okay, it's a chunk of money. Mm-hmm. We're looking at about, 25, 30 all into, with a mortgage on top of that. Comparably, we've looked at some properties on the other side of town by the castle, even more centrally, and we're looking at about 85,000. And we're talking rundown in an antiquated condition like that, that are studio where it's just absolutely tiny, and they're above shops and takeaways as well, and they are very hard to get mortgaged, very hard. And I mean, this is normal mortgage consent. It should be very straightforward to get a mortgage on it.
Okay, that's good. So obviously, we didn't see anything else on the market right now that was anywhere near as good.
No.
What was our next nearest plausible bargain?
On this side of the river, there was the aforementioned one we were talking about, 140,000. I viewed that one independently as well by myself, and it had the worst of everything. Okay, it was the
worst.
Well, it was in good condition, but it was a long-term rent. The owner has taken it off the market because of all this new legislation, and he just didn't want the hassle. So he took it off the market and he just decided to sell it. 140,000 he wanted. And you walk in and you're right in the living room. And yes, then you take a straight L, you walk down, and each of the rooms are off that. And all the rooms are weird, and for some reason there's like a cupboard with a shower in it that I don't know whether somebody's told them, oh, you add another shower and you'll get more money for the property. But it was they had one bathroom and shower, and one room that was like a cupboard but with a shower in it.
So a cack-handed ensuite is what you're saying.
Yes. And the garden was, probably about this big as well. You'll know it was one directly on the corner as you're coming up Lacalsh Road, right-hand side.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, gotcha. Sold by Hamish Holmes was the estate agent. Really good company, really good guy, really professional tour. And he said the same thing. If you're interested in the place, speak to me first. I'll speak to the owner and we'll make it informal before we go ahead. And we told him, look, it doesn't tick many of the boxes of what we want. and for the space and everything else, it wouldn't be worth our investment, and we wouldn't want to manage it on part of one of our clients, because one, you wouldn't get very much for it. I mean, if the client really wanted it and it was a passion project, we would take it on for them, but we wouldn't advocate for it. We'd say, look, if you want to do it, we'll manage it very professionally for you, but you could spend your money on other things.
Yeah, there were better options, and we're not really doing our due diligence for our clients if we're just saying, you do what you want. We'll also turn around and say, well, actually, we think there might be better fits than.
But again, for 140,000, 1.5 room flat, ground floor, neighbours all aside, no back garden, and it was weird as well. It was a very, very strange layout to the flat. Whereas now we're a stone's throw away from that. 95, 2 bedrooms, all the rooms are separate. Okay, needs a bit of work, which is a blessing in a way. If you take this place at 140, it doesn't matter what you do to it, you ain't going to really increase the value more than you've spent on it. 95k, 7k, maybe you want to make it really grand, you put 10k into it, and you're making a heck of a lot more than that when you sell it.
Yeah, I suppose the thing about it is you get an opportunity to make it your own. So we don't have to do the whole, what's the word for it? Basically magnolia everything, plaster it in just white or magnolia, just kind of like, oh, here you go, here's a plain, canvas. We don't have to do that.
Don't get me wrong, it's easier for us. If a client says, I found this property, can you go and view it for me? And it's ready to go. It's a case of put furniture in, licensing, and away you go. It's easier for us.
Yeah.
But do we want the customer, paying an extra 30,000, 40,000 for that? When realistically, that 40 grand we can save, we can put that into a second property for them. And largely, we look at things without the heart. We look at it in a matter of facts and figures and pounds and pence. We say, this is what we're going to put in, this is what you're going to put in, this is what can come back from it.
Yeah, but we also know that a lot of the things with short-term lets, a lot of the quirkier ones are the ones that seem to make the most money. So if you're getting a chance to start with something that needs modernizing anyway, you can modernize it in a way in which is not just plain Jane. It can be a little bit quirky.
So I was saying, so we look at it in just a facts and figures sort of way, whereas the customers, we find that they often look at things with the heart. They see our property, they go, I love it or I don't love it. And we say, take a step back and let's look at the figures on it. Now, what we would suggest is for your first property that you take with us or you invest with us, we're going to find a property that isn't in pristine condition, needs a little bit of work. That little bit of work can really save you a lot of money off the asking price. So a little bit of work, and if that works well for you and you want to take a bit more of a risk, we can find a property that we're happy to work on as well, that needs maybe, we could make 30, 40 grand in equity if we were to spend 10 grand, and we're happy to do that. And there's a whole market in there for that as well. But to start off, don't do anything complicated. You've got your money there. You don't want to take anything risky. You put it in this, and again, you get your money monthly. And again, if the value of the property goes up and you decide to sell up your share, then of course you make money on that as well. But what we're really interested in is that regular, passive, monthly, everyday booking, everyday money. That's what we really strive. That's what we want to give to our customer. We want them to see the money we make them and say, you know what? I like making 2 grand a month or 3 grand a month. If I was to double what I put in, would I get 4 grand a month and then 6 grand a month? Okay, well, if I can make that, maybe I can do a bit more. So we've got one of our clients there, and it went from a brief discussion, and after brief discussion, he said, well, and of course he asked the right question. Well, who are you doing this for, and how much are you making? And there's no clan there. There's no, oh, maybe we didn't know. We say, look, this is obviously we're not going to show them other people's portfolios. We show them our own and say, look, this is one property. This is what it cost us. This is what we make. If you put in this month, if you put in this much into our next property, you'll get roughly this. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. Because, okay, right. So he says, well, I've got an extra flat. Would you do that for me? Of course, we'll take his flat. Again, it was pretty much ready to go. It was a rental. They moved out, and in that in between, we got in there. And then it turned into, do you think you could make a holiday let for me just in the summer? Said, yeah, sure.
Oh, yes. I remember this one now.
And then it turned into, I really fancy living by the sea. There's a holiday park I want to stay, but I can only stay there up to October. What if I give you my place? It's ready to go. Do what you like with it, and I'll go there for 6 months, maybe even 8 months. And then, could you do that? Oh, yes, of course. And then it's turned into that. And then from that, he, I haven't sent you the photos. He's found a plot of land in the not far from the town centre, where he's currently in negotiations. He's going to buy the plot of land himself.
Oh yes, you did mention it in the passing.
So that's pretty much confirmed. He's had a meeting of it because he's a savvy guy himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be buying that. He's asked us to give us some of our contacts for some of the renovation work there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to sit, and then we're not going to have anything to do with that purchase, but we are going to manage the properties for him.
Okay.
And from his point of view, he's finding properties. He's got a bit of money. He's saying, "There you go, guys. Money's coming in. Here's another one, guys. Even more coming in." And now he's actually taking big chunks of his own money because he knows once he hands us a property, it's going to be money. And he himself is living in a holiday park. He's living it. Almost a bit jealous of him myself. And so I think that's kind of and now he's making a fair old amount from it. Now he's thinking with those eyes. Whenever he's on the go and he's having conversations, he's saying, "Oh, it's a nice place you have there." And he's thinking, if I give them over that place, if I let them run that for me, how much could they make? And now he phones us. In fact, he's phoning us before he phones the bank, probably, saying, what do you think of this, guys? I'll send you some photos.
Spoke to us this afternoon, in fact.
Yeah, and it's just a case of, and we were looking at it, and we said, okay, it needs a bit of work. And the building did need quite a bit of work, but he's getting it for not even half the price it should be, realistically. And by the time he gets there was already planning permission approved for it, for an extra story on top. So it's going to be at least a 2-bedroom apartment in the city centre. Come on, how much is that going to make?
So did you pull the trigger on that one yet?
So he had a price what he wanted to pay for it. They came back at 10k higher than what he wanted to pay, and he said he's okay paying that, but he's gonna play the game a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
So he said he's gonna offer them 5k less and meet in the middle, and I think he's gonna send that text tomorrow.
All right, okay. Well, we'll keep you posted on that too, and I'm very curious to find out what happens to this. I haven't even seen this one. You've only told me about it.
No, I've got. I'll show you the videos there after this.
That will be interesting.
The location is, but it just goes to show that the previous owner, it was him and his son that were doing something with it. Because of the way it was, they didn't have to pay any sort of council tax or any of it being there. They were using it as storage, but they had this absolute gold mine, and I mean gold mine, in the middle of the city centre in a boom town like this. And for 10 years, they used it to store boxes. Why? Because they didn't want the hassle of running a property. Ah,
yes, I see.
Another guy and this gentleman here is obviously he doesn't want the hassle of running properties either. But that's why we're there. And he's thinking with those eyes now. And he's doing don't get me wrong, we're doing well out of him as well. But, we work for it, and that's the deal that we make. We look after the properties. This is how much we charge. There's no hidden fees. There's no fee fee for the sake of fees. This is what we charge. If something breaks and we have to repair it, the invoices are there. That if we have to, the yearly inspections, the EIRCs, it's all there. There's nothing hidden there. You don't say, oh, you know what, we had to go and visit the flat. That's another £150 for them. That's all included in what we charge. All included. And again, it's not like they're paying that out of their own pocket. It comes out of the profit. So it's not stinging them in that way.
No, exactly. But again, there's transparency on that, so that's how we like to be.
So I think that probably wraps us up for today.
Yeah, well, I think we've certainly talked enough. We've certainly talked enough to keep you guys entertained forever.
So if you have any questions or you have some money to invest, give us a shout.
All right, cool. We'll leave it at that. Right, we'll see you next time.